Summit here again. Our sponsor is brought to you by Empower You Jenny Halligan, products that synergistically give your body premium nutrition. I am so excited to be here with Pat Romain today. She's an empowerment and leadership coach. She's a writer and speaker, helps women thrive as leaders. Welcome, Pat. I'm so happy that you joined us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's a thrill to be here talking to you, and I'm just going to ask you some questions. You're a brilliant leadership coach, and first I want to start out by asking you, how do you achieve optimal wellness in your own life, in your career, and your personal life?
Sure. So optimal wellness for me is not just about not being sick or, the way I look or being able to exercise or the healthy, nourishing foods that, you put in your body. For me, it goes a little bit beyond that. For me, it's about mostly my mental energy and how I feel and, in my body also, and how I can be joyful to live in my body and joyful in my soul. So for me, it goes beyond all of those, just the body and just the soul, but both of them together. Yeah.
So how you feel in your body? It sounds like more emotional.
Yes. It's a lot of, and it has to do with the physical also, because I love to cook. That's one of my favorite things to do. Cooking, making sure that I feed myself and my family really, really great food. But I also think that it goes hand in hand with the mental, with how I treat myself as a person. So I do a lot of practical things, not just going for exercise and things like that, but I love to take care of myself. There's a lot of self-care in my routine. I have this thing where I do a walking meditation, and one of my meditation friends, my friends she's a coach also, and she does a lot of meditations. She records meditations also, and she sprung this idea to me, like, oh, you like to walk, you like to run, why don't you do a walking meditation? And that's when I started that practice. So for me, it kind of goes hand in hand, the mental and the physical.
Absolutely. It's interesting that
Yeah.
you said self-care, because that's one of the questions I was going to ask you about self-care. And I too meditate. Can you talk a little bit more about meditation, how it helps you in your own life?
Oh, wow. I never thought that I would be the girl who'd be like, meditation, I love it. Because I didn't think I would be able to sit down for meditation. I didn't think, so that's why I started with the walking meditation. That's where I started. I started with listening to things while I walked. And that's how my practice grew. And I was able, now I can sit for a long period of time doing my meditation. The way that it helps, it's actually, because I am a very internal person, it fits with my personality. I can go in a cocoon and be inside myself for 1 or 2 hours, and I don't need to come out. It's like resting or taking a nap without actually napping. That's how I feel it is. But it takes practice, and you start where you're comfortable. If you can only do like 5 minutes of meditation, listening to meditation, as opposed to trying to figure it out on your own, that's fine. But the more you do it, the more it becomes a practice, the more you can see if it fits with your life, your personality, you're a person or not. Because it doesn't have to be meditation. It could be all kinds of different things for self-care. But for me, meditation is a very deep practice because it helps me go inside of myself and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So can you tell me how you got started with your coaching career? It sounds fascinating.
So my coaching career, I've had my business. Actually, it was a different sort of business. I used to be a virtual assistant. I had a virtual assistant business, and then it kind of morphed into more of a launch and project management business. So I started having all these clients who wanted for me to manage their projects. I created a team. of people to support me. And it became, well, what I did, that was 8 years ago. It became what I did, and it grew into this business, but I was very stressed out. And the project management and launching world is, it's a machine where, this, you have to go, go, go. And it's a cycle. And launching projects with different clients, I never had time to just calm down. I had this client who, was a coach, and she is still a coach. And she mentioned to me, I think you would be, during our call, she mentioned to me, I think you would be a really, really good coach. And I didn't really think about it until I had this, I was no longer fulfilled by doing just project management work or working with my client side that way. It became this big soul sucking thing. And I felt called more and more to listen to people, to share experience with people, instead of just looking at things in a pragmatic matter. Instead of just being the strategy person, I wanted to kind of go into the soul of our conversations, instead of just going, from point A to point B. And I realized that I tried to bring that into my business, but that it didn't match. So I had to let go of that and surrender and bring myself to, okay, this is what I want to do. And it was a really pretty big struggle with myself, just for surrendering, first of all, because we're not used to that. We just have to make it work or not, but just doing that, surrendering, and just letting it be what it needs to be. My coaching business kind of evolved from there. So yeah, that's how it happened.
That is so awesome. I too was kind of in that same situation where I had a business, and that's what I tell people. Like it was for 18 years, and it sucked at my soul because it wasn't the right fit. I mean, I made a lot of money, but exactly. It wasn't about the money. I wanted to use my gifts in the world.
Yes, yes. And that's something, I never thought that coaching would be for me, one. And I never thought that I would make money as a coach. For some reason, that was a big block for me. And I had to let go of that belief, create a new belief that, I can make money at whatever I choose to make money, especially if it's right for me, especially if it's something that I'm called to do. But I realized that it kind of opened up my mind to what we all can do with our lives, as long as you're called to do it. It appears in different kinds of ways. Yeah.
Now you talk about how you help others with their inner compass. Can you talk a little bit about that, what that is?
Yeah, I don't, it sounds like I help the people to kind of identify what that is and their soul calling and stuff like that. But usually my clients know exactly what they need, and they know exactly what they want. So they already know. I just help voice that. That's the thing. Because my clients, they know what their soul calling is. They know what they need to do. They know what their intuition. They just need a sounding board. They need, that other person to tell them, to kind of cover them and tell them it's okay to try this. It's okay to put your toe in there. It's okay to not know all the answers. It's okay to fall, if that's what happens. I just am that kind of conduit to let that voice come out, but it's already there. It's not like I guide them to their inner compass. It's there already.
I agree. So can you tell me exactly what an empowerment coach is and what you really do with your clients?
Yes. Oh my God. I had that question this morning. Somebody sent me a snap. Because I was on Snapchat yesterday, and somebody said, what is an empowerment coach? I mean, really, an empowerment coach is exactly what I explained. For me, what I know it means for me is to help my clients be the leaders of their own lives. I work a lot with my clients in identifying what that soul calling is. What am I supposed to do with this career that I created, but I'm no longer happy? What am I supposed to, I feel called to, do something else or do something greater in my career right now. And I don't know what it is, but they usually do know what it is. They just don't want to face it. So I'm just there to hold their hand. I'm just there to show them that they have the answers. And there's a little bit of strategy and planning in there too, because I don't like to say that it's just all about soul work, all about, mindset, and all about, there's a lot of that, but there's also a lot of planning, a lot of goal setting, because when you do all of this energy work and mental work, you have to bring it all down and do the practical work. So we get down to business and lay out the plan for all of this imagining that we've done and all the calling that we've heard. Yeah.
Awesome. So can you tell me what the biggest challenge for your clients typically is? Is it across the board? Is there one thing that is universal at all?
One of the biggest challenges I can see, and I usually see with my clients, is that they don't want to listen to that voice. That's one of the biggest challenges. And I mean, I've done it before where I don't want to listen to this. I just want to do what I keep doing. But the voice becomes bigger and bigger. And another thing that I see with my clients is that they usually want to stay in the practical. Let's just jump into making plans. And plans are awesome, but without the foundations, which I think is the soul work and the deep work, foundations are shaky. The without growing from your desire is what I like to call it. You can't really make something that's durable and that's going to stand. So that's the work that a lot of my clients are like, do we really need to go there?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. And don't you think it's kind of an evolvement? Like, for example, I just can think of the most poignant instances in my life are kind of an evolvement. They don't just happen. One thing happens and another thing happens and another thing happens.
Yeah, it's like, it's a building blocks, it's not just, it comes out of nowhere. It has to build itself. And then that's when it's durable and sustainable. Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about the mental work. What's that all about?
Well, a lot of the mental work, I mean, they have to do for themselves. This is what I love this part, because this is where my eyes light up. This is the conversations that I like to have. And we talk a lot about, about meditation first of all. So it depends on my client. They all have the different tools, because the practical tools that help this mental work is, meditation. Journaling is one of my favorite things to talk about also. And just conversations with people that you trust. Conversations that with people that can kind of mirror who you are on the inside. Those are the tools that I kind of give to my clients that they can go on and flourish with in doing this type of work.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when do your clients typically approach you? Do you feel, are they, I don't want to say in crisis mode, but are they at a turning point in their life, or when do they typically contact you or want to work with you?
I mean, it depends. It happens at different points. Some of my clients, they just want to get that next promotion. And some of my clients, they want to, there's a breakup, they broke up with their partner, and they're kind of reevaluating their whole lives, and that comes into that. So it can happen at different points. There's no specific, because all of my clients have a different story. Every story is unique. And when it usually happens when there is a calling to do more for themselves, when they want to create a new opportunity, quote unquote, for themselves in their lives.
Okay. And I love talking to entrepreneurs. I'm interested in hearing about how you've grown your business, how you've gotten to be kind of where you're at right now.
So my business has grown really from word of mouth. So I hang out a lot on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. But it's really, one person referring me to another person. And most of my clients come from friends, really close friends who know what I do, and or clients who've been through, something, and I've helped them. I've been there for them, and then they refer someone else to me. So that's basically how I usually get to work with people. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I didn't prepare you for this, but you're a lovely lady, so I'm sure you can get with it here. What
Sure.
are the top what are the top 3 tips that you have for someone that's just beginning, that's interested in empowerment?
And as a coach, they're beginning their
No, I'm sorry, like a client, like a person
like a
that's
client.
interested in empowerment. What are 3 kind of cornerstone things that people should work on, or tips that you give people?
Okay, so one of the things that I like to analyze is, what are your core beliefs? What is you can't go without in your life. This is it. This is part of who I am. This is what I believe. And identify who you are, what your beliefs are, what your journey, what you want your journey on this earth to be. Basically, kind of go out and look at the spectrum of your life. What do you want people to remember you as? And usually, I like to kind of challenge them and see, let's go beyond accomplishments. Let's go beyond, this bachelor degree or a master's degree or a doctorate. Let's go beyond houses or cars or whatever. Let's go deep. What is it that you want people to remember you? Because chances are at the end, it's not going to be about that. So it's kind of, deep and kind of big, but I like to, let's start there and then identify our core beliefs. And because your beliefs are very, there's a really tight relationship with self-confidence, and going in that leadership journey and that empowerment journey always starts with self-confidence, what I believe and what I want to create for myself and for others. So that's where it all starts.
Absolutely. So that's one thing. Do you have 2 more?
2 more. 2 other things that it's another thing, and we talked about self-care. A big thing about self-care is, the more you take care of yourself, the more you put these wellness routines for yourself, the more you become secure in who you are. It's just so weird that it works like that, but it works like that, and it ups your confidence. It anchors you and grounds you, and kind of creates an opening for you to give more of yourself, because you fill your cup, first, and then everyone else benefits. So another thing is very important to put together a wellness routine for yourself, and take care of yourself. Good food, exercise, and go deep with these routines. And a third tip, let me see if I can think of something. A third tip is to work on your energy. So that's kind of, a bit out there, but for me, what I've realized is the higher I vibrate, the more energy I have, the more, and then it's not just physical energy. I'm talking about the whole being. The more I can create what I want in my life. the more I can create what I want for myself and for others. So that's, you know, being really aware of your thoughts, being aware of your physical energy, being aware, okay, where am I on the spectrum? Am I good? You know, am I optimal? Because this is, you know, part of optimal wellness. This is part of how we want to show up. So yeah, that would be my third tip.
I love that. Thank you. You did really well for me putting you on the spot. And so we don't have a whole lot of time, but I just asked someone, my last interview, I asked somebody, can you quickly share what your core beliefs are? It's interesting that you said that because I just asked someone that the other day.
So what my core beliefs, you know, I really do believe that everyone has something to share with the world. Everyone, even if it's you know, it's your community, even if, and I like to take the example because I do a lot of volunteering in my daughter's school, and I started volunteering like 3 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long. And I volunteer in the library of the school. And I just saw the difference that it made for the first graders. And then the parents of the first graders would be like, oh, it's a library lady, the library mom. And then, you know, it became bigger and bigger. I'm like, okay, I'm making an impact because even their parents know who I am. And the grandmother knows who I am. So, you know, even if it's start with your community, one person, just making a change in one person's life, it impacts other people because that person will be in contact with other people. So, you know, making sure that that's one of the core beliefs that I have is that whatever you do, you're always impacting the world, even if it starts small, but it always becomes bigger. And, you know, for me, family is everything. Family is the cradle of humanity, if I can put it like that. You know, it also is there. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And since we're under a time constraint, is there one last thing you want to share with everyone?
One last thing to share with everyone is to take care of each other. Yeah. I might sound a little bit woo-woo, but I think that the more you take care of, you know, for me, sisterhood and brotherhood is very important, taking care of each other. And I know it's not something that we promote a lot because we are a society, especially here in North America, because I live here in Canada, you know, it's very individualistic. But I find when we come together, there's more good happens. So taking care of each other and people like people, basically. I don't care what anybody says. People like people. And when we're in a community and we take care of each other, there's impact there too.
I completely agree. Thank you for sharing that last beautiful thought with us. Now, we would like to know, everybody that's watching, if everybody loves Pat Romain here, please, you know, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. But Pat, how do we find you? How can we follow you? How can we get to know you?
So you can find me on my website, patromain.com. And there you'll find my Instagram, my Facebook, and my Twitter, you know, these channels to kind of link up with me if you feel inclined to do so.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much, Pat.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It was so wonderful to have you. And we have 21 experts for the Naturally Beautiful and Optimal Wellness Summit. Thanks so much for watching, and come back and watch our other experts.